Before we get started today, I want to give a quick shout out to Jordan Terria over on Twitter for making this amazing piece of fan art for me, Tekking 101, King of Lightning, and Joy Boy theories. It's done in the style of the really famous For Yonko panel, and I absolutely love it. So Jordan, thank you so much for this fan art. I just really wanted to give you a shout out at the beginning of this video. And without any further ado, let's talk about the results of the 6th One Piece popularity poll. Oh man, I am so excited to record this discussion video. I have so many thoughts on so many of the different placements in this poll. Let's just get started with what I already made a video on Thursday, which was when I first found out the results of the poll. I found out that Brook didn't even make the top 15. I don't know what Japanese voters were thinking, but I guess despite everything that Brook did in Whole Cake Island, taking on Big Mom one-on-one, breaking the Mother Caramel photo, stealing the rubbing of the poneglyph, using all his cool Soul King attacks against the homies, people just didn't think that was enough, and the Japanese fan base didn't even put him into the top 15. I expected top 10 at least. So for him to not even get into the top 15 and for some other characters to get in there that are absolutely completely undeserving, it just made me really, really mad, which is why I made that video on Thursday. But there are a lot of other things to talk about in regards to the most recent character popularity poll, and the first thing I actually want to talk about has nothing to do with the exact rankings. It actually has to do with the color spread that Oda drew to coincide with the release of the results. Now, in this color spread, Oda drew Luffy and all the characters that are not Straw Hats that made it into the top 20. So characters like Hancock, Marco, Ace, Sabo, Shanks, Law, Corazon, Cavendish, which just don't even get me started. However, there's one character who isn't officially a member of the Straw Hats yet who is excluded from this artwork, and that is Jinbe. They didn't include Chopper, they didn't include Nami, or Sanji, or Zoro, or Jinbe. That is Oda telling us Jinbe is going to be joining the crew. I know there's a lot of people who still want to deny it and still think that there's no way that Jinbe is actually going to join, and they think he might die during Whole Cake Island, and you could still totally believe that, and maybe Jinbe will die at the end of Whole Cake Island. However, even if he does, Oda is making it very clear with this color spread that if Jinbe goes out during Whole Cake Island, he will at least go out as an official member of the Straw Hat crew. However, I do not think Jinbe is going to die during this arc. I think if anybody's going to die, it'll probably be Pedro. I think Jinbe is going to make it through, and when he does, he will officially be the next Straw Hat. And that's super exciting. A lot of you guys have never been around for the introduction of a new Straw Hat crew member. I think the last time, I'm trying to think. No, there hasn't been. Some of you guys might have seen the Grand Fleets. I know there were a lot of people who came into One Piece after the Marineford arc, and then they saw Dressrosa, and they were like, oh, all these new Grand Fleet members. But the Grand Fleet and the alliances are not the same thing as a new Straw Hat member. So this is really an exciting time, and I wanted to bring that up because I think it's really important. This is Oda specifically teasing us that Jinbe is going to join the crew. If you are a Jinbe denier, your days are numbered, and I'm sorry for you. Now, with that being said, let's get right into the official rankings of the characters as voted on by the Japanese fan base. I'm going to talk about the American poll results as well near the end of the video, but the Japanese fan base really made some odd mistakes during this character poll, and I'm calling them mistakes because that's what they are. There are some weird character mistakes. They should not be on this poll where they are. Some of them, of course, make sense, though, like the first three. The first three this time around are Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. No huge surprise, the Monster Trio is normally in the top 3, but what is interesting about it this time around is that last character popularity poll, Law was actually number 2, not Zoro. And this time, Law was bumped down to number 4. Now, that makes sense to me, considering the fact that Law hasn't been in the story since Zoe, but neither has Zoro. So I find it really interesting that Zoro actually came on top of Sanji this time around. I thought, if anything, Sanji was going to get number 2. We all knew Luffy was going to be number 1. And then I thought it was going to be Zoro at number 3 and Law at number 4. So Law actually ended up where I expected him to end up, but I really did think that Sanji was going to overtake Zoro, at least this time on the character poll, due to the fact that Whole Cake Island really is Sanji's arc. And really, Sanji didn't lose to Zoro by much. Zoro managed to get 10,442 votes to get second place, and Sanji got 10,215. So really it was only a difference of 200 votes, which isn't that much when you look at some of the differences between third and fourth. Sanji was at 10,215, and fourth was Law at 7,997. So that's quite a few votes that separate Law and Sanji. But I don't know if it was just the pre-Wano hype or why so many people voted for Zoro this time around. I don't mind. Obviously, Zoro is one of the coolest characters. I totally understand why he's number 2, but that definitely took me by surprise. The other one of the top 5 that I want to talk about, the only one I haven't talked about yet, is Ace. And I've seen a lot of people confused as to why Ace actually made it into the top 5 this time around. And you got to remember a couple things, people. One, Ace is absolutely the fangirl character within One Piece. Every female friend I have that likes One Piece, their favorite character is Ace. Ace is the character that the girls fawn over. He's the hottie character. And on top of that, Ace is also the character who most recently got a light novel in the One Piece magazine. So he is fresh on people's minds. I know he hasn't obviously done anything since Marineford because, spoiler alert, Ace dies there. But it still makes sense to me that Ace made it into the top 5. The one in the top 10 that really shakes things up, and the thing I really was excited by, was Jinbe landing at number 6 at 3,884 votes. And it actually says here in the official release of Shonen Jump, I'm going to read this out loud and zoom in on the page because I like what they wrote. It says, with his pledge to join the Straw Hat crew, he leaps up to the 6th place. Now, again, that goes along with that color spread that I was talking about earlier. More teasing that Jinbe is going to be joining the crew, and it makes sense that Jinbe's in the top 10. I would have totally expected Jinbe to make the top 10, considering all the cool things he's done during Whole Cake Island so far. He stood up to Big Mom, he refused to spin the roulette, you know, he took the leave or life attack, and he actually wasn't scared to die, so it didn't work on him. He showed off that he had armament hockey, he took on Katakuri alongside Capone and Pedro, so Jinbe's done some really cool stuff. I expected him to get in the top 10. I also expected the next two to land in the top 10, Tony Chopper and Nami, considering the fact that both Chopper and Nami have done really cool things during this arc. Nami is basically the reason why Luffy beat Katakuri. If not for her reign, he wouldn't have been able to eat all those biscuit crackers. And Chopper, of course, was sort of like the head of the mirror world for half of this arc, where he's the one sort of masterminding everything behind the scenes once him and Carrot were trapped in the mirror world. So Bropper or Chobro, whatever you want to call him, Chopper's had a pretty big role in this arc. And on top of that, Chopper has always been in the top 10 since he was initially introduced into the series. He's the mascot of the franchise. Naturally, Chopper was going to make top 10. No huge surprises there. Here's where things start to get weird, and I could feel myself starting to get worked up, so I'm going to calm myself down. Number 9 is Sabo, which is fine. You know, Sabo had a huge role in Dressrosa. He's the brother of Luffy and Ace, who both made it to the top 5. It makes sense that Sabo would be in the top 10. That's fine. He was ranked pretty highly on the last character popularity poll as well, but again, he hasn't done anything since Dressrosa. I think, if anything, gave him a little bit of a push. It might have been two things. One, since the end of Dressrosa, Burning Blood was released, and Sabo was like basically the main character they were pushing in Burning Blood. It was Sabo, Doflamingo, and Luffy, and so maybe Sabo was on people's minds. And the only other thing I could think about was Film Gold, because they really highlighted that cameo with Sabo and Lucci. It really didn't amount to anything if you've seen the movie, but I think maybe Sabo was on people's minds, and so they voted for him. Fine. Number 10 is where I got really mad, because landing in number 10, same place she was last time, was Boa Hancock with 2,452 votes. Now, Boa is the second most voted for female character in the series right now, based on this popularity poll, which is fine. However, this is during an arc where we had the official introduction of Big Mom, plus Pudding, plus Smoothie, and the thing that shocks me more than anything, the character I thought was guaranteed of the new characters to land in the top 10, Reiju. Boa Hancock landed above Reiju and Nico Robin. Now, Robin I kind of understand not landing in the top 10 because, again, much like Zoro and Law, she has not been involved with the story. But Reiju? Reiju has been right there at the front lines. Everybody loves Reiju. I am shocked that Reiju actually didn't even make it into the top 12. Reiju ended up landing at number 14, and Reiju landed below Cavendish at number 13. 11 was Shanks, 12 was Robin, 13 was Cavendish. This makes no sense to me. I don't know what the Japanese fans are thinking. How did Cavendish land that high on this poll? I don't know if this was like a joke among the fan base in Japan, and they wanted to vote for him because he always cares about popularity, but Cavendish at number 13, again, he's joined the Straw Hat Grand Fleet. He had a big part to play in Dressrosa, but he hasn't been seen since beyond his cover story, and the cover story wasn't even all that good. So for Cavendish to land above Reiju, above Usopp at 15, and above Brook at 19. Oh no, yeah, Brook is 19. Brook is 19 on this poll. He barely makes it into the top 20, despite everything that he's done during this arc. What? And some of the characters that land above Brook. Doflamingo, who lost during Dressrosa, landed at 17, and then a character who hasn't been seen since Marineford, Crocodile, landed at 18. What is with the resurgence in votes for Crocodile? What has Crocodile done? How could you tell me that Crocodile deserves to be higher on this poll than Brook or Frankie? Makes no sense to me. Marco actually tied with Frankie at 20, but Brook landing in at 19, and I want to say this just to put into perspective how crazy this is. This poll, this character popularity poll, had 80,000 total votes cast. You know how many votes Brook got? Just guess. Nope, I'm not hearing anything less than 1,000, and that's what Brook got. Brook got 936 votes during this character popularity poll. That is unbelievable to me. Brook should have been way higher. I'm still super salty about Brook, and I'm really salty that Hancock still made it into the top 10 above Brook and above Reiju. Those two should have absolutely been in the top 10. I actually wouldn't even put Sabo in the top 10. I understand why he's there. He's popular. But I would have said, if I was going to rank it, based on my guess, I would have said it would have been Luffy, Zoro, Sanji, Law, Ace, Jinbe, Chopper, Nami, Brook, and Reiju. Those would have been the top 10. So, yeah, Sabo and Hancock, they really confused me. And then again, to see Doflamingo and Crocodile and Cavendish and Rocinante, Corazon landed at 16. Corazon has been dead since Dressrosa. Why is Corazon so high? Makes no sense to me. Especially when you look at where some other characters landed who were introduced during the Whole Cake Island arc. I'm going to go to the next page really quickly and read out some of these other results. Now, Vivi landed at 23, fine. Carrot landed at 26, also fine. I thought Carrot would be higher than she actually is, but Carrot at 26 is totally okay. Pudding landed at 28. Whitebeard landed at 27. Whitebeard, just like Ace, has been dead since Marineford, so I don't know why he landed so high. One thing on here that I think is kind of funny is that both Tashigi and Smoker landed at 32, and they had the exact same number of votes, which I find pretty funny. Marco and Frankie had the same number of votes, too, because they tied at 20. But Buggy's at 34, Koala, my girl Koala, at 35. Perona's at number 22, above Vivi, above Pudding, above Nekomamushi, Bartolomeo, Kuzan, Carrot, Whitebeard. Blackbeard was 48. Like, what? Katakuri was 45. Katakuri was 45. Let that sink in for a moment. That one of the best new characters of this arc, the only Charlotte family member who's done anything worth noting, is at 45 on this poll. Crazy to me. And then Katakuri is just slightly above Senor Pink, which is fine. I like Senor Pink. But at number 47 is Falafra. Do you even remember who Falafra is? Falafra is the guy who was working alongside Koza with the Revolutionaries of Alabasta. How this dude made it into the top 50 and Big Mom didn't. Big Mom, you know where Big Mom landed on this poll? I think it's kind of funny. She landed at 69, which, you know, funny. But really, Big Mom gets in at 69 and Falafra is at 47? Falafra? I don't know if this is just some weird meme going on in Japan, but really bizarre to me. And then Oda landed at 39. Oda himself landed at 39 above Katakuri and Senor Pink and some of these other characters. Uruge is at 49, that's fine. Panda Man actually landed at 50, but Panda Man landed higher than Capone. Capone just barely squeaked into the top 60 at 51 with Capone Gang Beige. Fine, that's fine. Lucci made it at 42. Rebecca's at 40. Rebecca's above Lucci and Senor Pink and Capone and Katakuri. Makes no sense. And then at number 44, one of the most egregious of any of the votes is Ayn, who is the filler girl character who can de-age people from Film Z. Not even a Film Gold character. A Film Z character landed above Blackbeard, Katakuri, Capone, Big Mom, all the rest of the Vince Smokes, Caesar Clown, Fujitora, Peckham's. It makes me very angry. But one thing that at least us American fans can feel good about is the results of the American poll. So basically, the votes that were tallied up for this Japanese popularity poll were all based on people who were voting in Japan. And Shonen Jump in America had their own poll, and these are the top 20 based on the American votes. And so I'm going to read this out really quick. It says, this is also the biggest poll that Shonen Jump ever had for an American audience. Top 3 are still the same as Japan, Luffy, Zoro, and Sanji. But number 4 in the American poll, number 4, exactly where he's supposed to be, Brook, with 3,836 votes, nearly quadrupling what he was voted for in the Japanese poll. That's insane to me. Absolutely insane. Brook lands at number 4 with 3,836. Law made it at number 5. So top 5 included Brook and Law. So actually, Ace wasn't even in the top 5 in the American poll. And then the other top 10 included Nami, Robin, Ace, Shanks, and Usopp. That is way better to me than having Sabo and Hancock in there. I mean, Usopp being in the top 10 is also really nice. I like that. And then landing at number 11 was Carrot with 999 votes and Jinbe at 12 with 916. All good there. I like the Jinbe and Carrot are that high. And then after that came Doflamingo, Blackbeard, Sabo, Crocodile, Marco, Chopper, Frankie, and Hawkins. All characters that were also ranked pretty highly on the Japanese poll. The only one that confuses me here is Hawkins. I don't know why so many people like Hawkins, why he got so many votes. He got 497 votes and landed at number 20 in the American poll. I guess people like Hawkins. I guess in terms of the other supernovas, though, I expected maybe Capone to rank higher than him or Urouge, just because Urouge and Capone have a lot of hype right now, especially among the YouTubers. So to see Hawkins landing that high, I don't know. I guess people are excited to see him during the upcoming Wano arc since he's working with Kaido. But that's another thing, too. Kaido. Where did Kaido land on this poll? I want to go back really quickly. I don't even see him on here. Where is Kaido? I'm looking. I don't even think Kaido landed in the top 50. That's insane to me. Fujitora, Ben Beckman. Oh, Kaido. Okay. Where did Kaido land? Let me zoom in. Oh, that's Kobe. Wait, what? Hold on. That's Kobe? This makes no sense. Kobe landed at 57 and Kaido's nowhere to be seen? Karu is at 54? Gaimon at 62. Okay. What is even this? Vince Smoke-Sora landed at 65. What? Sanji's mom landed at 65 above Big Mom. This makes no sense. These results make absolutely no sense. At the very least, we could just be happy about the fact that now it looks like Jinbe is going to join the crew, and we could be happy about the fact that Jinbe ranked pretty highly. But clearly, the Japanese were wrong this time around. Brook absolutely deserves to be top 5 this arc. Clearly, the American fans came through for him. It is the decade of Brook, the year of Brook. Guys, let me know what you think in the comments about this character poll, and what did you think of all these results? I will put a link down to the screen caps of these character poll results in the description. I'll also link to Shonen Jump as well, because you could read all the results in English. And on top of that, you could also read the latest chapter of One Piece with the official translation. Kind of cool stuff there. But yeah, man, I was very confused by these results. Hopefully, by the next time that we do this, we'll be through the Wano arc. I actually feel because Zoro is probably going to have a big role to play in Wano, he'll probably stay where he is. Hopefully Kaido will be higher. Kaido not even being anywhere on this poll is just absolutely crazy to me that Kaido didn't land anywhere. I mean, Kaido, like, above... I'm just seeing Falafra and, like, all these other weird characters that absolutely should not have been above Kaido. And Perona? Like, I know a lot of people like Perona. Perona's #1 waifu for a lot of people, but man... I was just so disappointed by these results, and I know I'm not alone, so please share your anger with me down in the comments below. Leave a like on this video if you liked everything I had to say, and please be sure to subscribe, because I bring you guys reviews about the anime and the manga of One Piece every single week. And until next time, I'll talk to you guys later. But man, I'm salty. I'm salty.